Thank you.
Need to sign it? You can
I'm
sign it.
notarizing it right now, right?
No.
No.
Hey, Carol.
How are you?
Good, thanks. Good.
Somebody's car. Call to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence before you sit, please. Thank you.
Mayor, you'll have to stop it for 1 second.
Sure you can.
I'm not hearing it recording, so I don't know if it's set up properly.
Okay.
Don't hear them. Is that in the right? I just don't hear it. Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017, as per requirement of Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice is hereby given that this is a regular meeting of the Borough of Highlands Mayor and Council, and all requirements have been met. Notice has been transmitted to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times. Notice has been posted on the public bulletin board. Formal action will be taken.
Madam Clerk, I just would like to read the proclamation before we get into the business of the town.
Should I do roll call again?
Yeah, do roll call.
Ms. Bruin?
Here.
Mr. Card?
Here.
Ms. DeRigo?
Here.
Ms. Wells?
Here.
Mr. O'Neill?
Here. I have a proclamation to read here from the Borough of Highlands Office of the Mayor. It's about the passing of Mr. Mandrock this week. And it says, whereas on behalf of the Borough of Highlands, I wish to record our deep sorrow over the passing of Mr. Donald Mandrock on April 29, 2017. And whereas Mr. Donald Mandrock was a beloved father, friend, and community volunteer, and whereas he spent his adult life in the Borough of Highlands, and whereas Mr. Mandrock was an active and well-respected individual who was a veteran of the United States Army and served during the Korean War, who was often credited with single-handedly managing the Veterans of Foreign Legions War Post 6902. Whereas his life was dedicated to the best interests of the community and his family while serving on the Borough of Highlands Council from 1988 to 1993, and was an an active proponent of veterans' rights and benefits. Whereas the Borough of Highlands, along with Mr. Mandrott's family, are blessed to have known him and been part of his life. And now, therefore, I, Rick O'Neill, Mayor of the Borough of Highlands, on behalf of the entire Borough Council, in recognition of Donald Mandrott's many contributions to our borough and its veterans, do hereby express our deep appreciation for his dedication to the progress of this community and extend to his family our sincere sympathy upon his passing, and hereby order all borough flags to be flown at half-staff in recognition of his service. I know many of you knew him. He was a good guy, whether you saw his point of view or not, but he did a lot of things for the town, and we want to thank him for that. All right.
Next on the agenda is a presentation from Street Smart New Jersey campaign.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the Chief Blewett, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and thank our friends here from Street Smart New Jersey. What we're doing is, the council might remember last year we applied for a grant, Safe Routes to School. Unfortunately, we didn't get that grant. But through that grant, there was a process, and we learned a lot about our safety, about the safety of our kids, particularly around Highlands Elementary School. We've taken a lot of precautions, we made a lot of changes in that area to improve the safety of our kids, both pedestrian, bicycle safety, and recently we just got a grant for the whole month of April was distracted driving grant campaign throughout the state of New Jersey. So Division of Highway Traffic Safety, we got a grant, and we were out patrolling. It's for education and enforcement for cell phones, distracted driving, eating, things like that. So we teamed up with Street Smart New Jersey. As you can see some of our signs over here. You're going to see these signs throughout the borough in the next coming weeks. Part of this is, as you can see, speed limits, pedestrian safety. As Highlands is growing, we just went through the streetscape project. We have more and more people moving into Highlands, commuting through Highlands. We have more pedestrians, bicyclists than we probably ever had before in the last few years. I mean, a long time ago there was a lot more people, but it's really, we're going to team up with our businesses. We have some things over here, some literature, some signs that are going to go into our businesses, just to keep people aware of their surroundings, especially with reference to the crosswalks and things like that that were just implemented with the streetscape project. So I just want to introduce some of our people here from Street Smart New Jersey to come up and tell you about the program. Thank you.
And I want to thank you and the council for allowing us to come in here, explain a little bit about the Street Smart NJ program that we developed. I'm Keith Hamus. I work for the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority. For those of you who aren't familiar, this is a metropolitan planning organization for the region of North Jersey. We have on our board 13 counties, and as well as bringing together a forum for planning for all of our major transportation agencies, NJ Transit, DOT. We're a coordinating agency, so we bring everyone to the same table and try to get them working together on projects like this. So Street Smart NJ is a program that we developed in response to being designated in New Jersey as a focus state. And that's not a good thing. Let me just explain what that means. We had an overrepresentation of pedestrian fatalities and injuries as a result of pedestrian vehicle crashes. So we are responding to that by creating a program that addresses this problem in a meaningful way. Back in 2013, we piloted this program in 5 different communities in North Jersey. And we found very good results from those. We made it out to a diverse cross-section of New Jersey communities. We had a shore community, rural, 2 busy urban communities. So we found initially that it works great everywhere. So we expanded on that last year in 2016. We expanded to 12 communities, and since then it's just continuing to grow because of positive response. One of the great things about it, as you can see from the signs here, is that it honors the notion that we have that it's a shared responsibility among drivers and pedestrians to practice safe transportation and consciousness about sharing the road in a responsible and safe way. Initially, we had, used the crosswalks, obey speed limits, and but we've also expanded our message to address the ongoing and bigger problem of distracted driving and distracted walking. So, we're continuing to refresh those messages, and we came to, we're in over 40 communities now, and we're continuing to grow, as I said, with the help of our transportation management agencies. Lisa Lee is representing Easy Ride, and she'll explain a little bit of background about that. But I just wanted to, show you what we have. We have a whole suite of different materials and messages that are going to be distributed in the community. There's coasters, there's tip cards. These are table tent cards that can go on restaurants or cash registers. So we're ready to make a big splash in this community, and definitely encourage you to look at the website beastreetsmartnj.org. But I think that one of the strengths of this is that it has proven success everywhere. In our last campaigns, we found that based on a pre-campaign and post-campaign observations, we found a 28% reduction in people jaywalking, 40% reduction in turning vehicles failing to stop for pedestrians that are in the crosswalk. So, an increase in awareness about the laws and increased observance of those laws. So, I just wanted to thank everyone again. I think that this program is going to continue to grow. As my colleague here, Willie Yarzad, likes to point out, we're trying to get to a point where this is as recognizable as click it or ticket, or you drink, you drive, you lose. We're getting there, and we need the help of good communities like this to take on the initiative and work together to get these messages out there. So I just want to introduce Lisa Lee here, and she'll talk a little bit more about the campaign details.
Hi, I'm Lisa Lee, as Keith and Will said. I'm the Easy Rides Safe Routes to School coordinator, actually from Monmouth County, as well as the Bike and Ped manager. And last year, we actually had the chance to work with Captain Burton and your school district. We did a walkability audit, and we assisted them to apply for the Safe Routes to School infrastructure grant. And I just wanted to say I'm really pleased to see a lot of the improvements that have already been made. I think one of the things that we had brought up to Captain Burton was that to strengthen your application for next year's process, you might want to consider passing a complete streets policy, because that's one of the things that they look for. So regarding Street Smart, I and my team were out here last Monday, the 24th, between the hours of 2:45 and 4:15. So one of the things that we do to support your community and the Street Smart campaign is that my team came out here. They kind of were nondescript. We were kind of like stealth observations. And so we were trying to pick a time when we know that there is traffic coming, people coming back from the ferry. There might be people coming to pick up loved ones at the ferry, as well as your school students are released and walking home. So we know that that's like a time when there may be a lot of incidents. So some of the things we saw were 8 cars speeding. Oh, we observed at the intersection of Shore Drive and Water Witch. Okay, and that intersection was identified as a target by Captain Burton and your police force. So they observed 8 cars speeding, 2 cars not yielding to pedestrians in the crosswalk, 13 cars not stopping at the stop sign, 28 distracted drivers. That means people could be on the phone, they could be drinking coffee, putting on their makeup or whatever, or they could be listening to music or something. 19 people not crossing using the crosswalks. So some of those could be students, but we didn't identify that. 6 distracted walkers, meaning the walkers themselves may have been staring at their phones or having headphones on or not really paying attention. And then we had a teen cyclist riding on the sidewalk with no helmet, and 1 adult cyclist, which was actually leaving and even crossed the median. So these are some of the behaviors that we're hoping that this campaign will change by putting up the signs. My team, we set out 1 day each week over the next 2 weeks during the education campaign. We're going to come out and we're going to be passing out tip cards in the community to help your police force. I know that they probably also have plans to do an education campaign on some of the other days, but we've committed ourselves to come out 2 of those 2 days, 1 day next week and 1 day the following week. We hope maybe some of you will help as well to pass these education out, because that's the way the community learns, as they're going along. And then after that, they'll be doing 2 weeks of enforcement.
Correct. Also with that, we'll be rolling out, we got a $10,000 pedestrian safety grant through the state of New Jersey. That program is designed for officers in unmarked cars or marked cars and officers in plain clothes as a decoy. So you may see somebody going across the crosswalk, it may be a police officer in plain clothes, and then there will be other police officers as a spotter to see if someone didn't yield to that pedestrian in the crosswalk. That program is coming out in conjunction with this. We're also teamed up with Henry Hudson Regional School. We're doing a program with Students Against Drunk Driving for distracted driving and overcrowding and the rules about graduated driver's license. That's coming up next week.
And we also actually, earlier this year, I think in January we came out, it might have been January, it might have been December, we've been doing so many. We came out and did safety presentations to all the students in your elementary
At the
school.
elementary school.
Yeah.
So these programs are both, they're education and enforcement. So we give you a chance up front to tell you this is coming and this is what to look for, and then the second phase is enforcement. So you'll see our signboard and things like that. Check out our Facebook page. We'll be posting our stuff out on our Facebook page and links to Street Smart New Jersey.
And just one more thing to add. Part of the design of this program is that we provide all these messages that can be easily deployed, and once you have familiarity with this can be repeated in the fall or next spring too, or the summer, as you see fit. And if you have the resources, it's something that we call just building capacity, giving towns the ability and the knowledge to roll this out from here on out as you see fit. So hopefully this will attract enough attention and a good following to keep it running beyond this campaign itself.
Would you feel questions?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions?
More just a comment, Greg Wells, 246 Bayside Drive. So the problem in Highlands, to be honest, we have a super acute problem that starts Memorial Day weekend and is focused on people leaving the ferry 4:40 and after, 4:40 to like 7. And I think you know this, but the real problem is Seabright. Everybody's trying to get to the beach clubs and everybody's trying to get home through Seabright, and Ocean Avenue gets backed up. So it's like a race to be the first one out of that lot and down Ocean Avenue. And that's why people are cutting through town, they're racing out down the roads, trying to get the first one down Route 36 into Seabright, because you could wait 40, 50 minutes in Seabright. So I would really urge you guys to wait till Memorial Day and focus on like Thursday and Friday, and then focus heavily on Mondays in the morning, because it's the same thing. Everybody's coming in because everybody's doing the long weekends down here, and everybody's trying to get that boat in the morning, and there's limited capacity, so people are racing into town to get on that boat Monday.
And one of the good things about the program is it's adaptable to each community. So as those concerns are voiced, as the police department makes those assessments, along with the council, you can adjust it to when you feel it's most important and when it's going to do the best and have the biggest effect. Again, as Keith said, visiting our website, there are tweets, there are email blasts. If you work in town, certainly live in town, please send those out among your.
We've been in contact with C Street, and their riders will be made to know about this program.
Can you talk to Seabright though? Because the real problem, as I see it, if I get stuck in this too, is the light at the Rumson Bridge. That
all know
backs up. It backs up for 40, 50 minutes. Why wouldn't they race? If you get out of that boat and you want to get home on a Thursday or Friday, and the difference between running our stop sign and not running our stop sign is 30 or 40 minutes, and this is a simple fix if we coordinated it with Seabright. Can we maybe look at that or talk to them?
Yes.
And
Those are
what
great
you could
points.
do again is they could do it now as they scheduled, and they could potentially do it again for the summer.
Yes,
The summer.
just
travel.
because this is the campaign right now doesn't mean it's forgotten about afterwards.
Right.
Our campaign now is focused on, you know, an analysis component, and we'll be able to tell with Lisa's observations whether this is having a statistically significant improvement. But regardless of that, we're hoping that this will be something that sticks with the town, and that you know, there's incremental progress. And you're talking about changing behaviors. It's a long-term process, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes repetition as well. So if we can set up a situation where you want to repeat this and use the resources that we make available, then that's all for the better. And I agree with the notion that we should put this up at the right times and the right locations. That's all part of the process that we discuss amongst ourselves to try to find the right target locations. With these signs, it's really becomes sort of a marketing exercise. We need to get this to higher visibility with the most exposure, make the most impact. So.
Are they actually going up, those signs?
Yes.
On the poles or?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
On our street sign?
Yes.
Those ones right there.
Can they go on the
You
C
could
Street
leave them up all the
property?
way through the entire summer. I mean, I think that's probably a good idea. The fact that
I was
you
just
do have
following Lisa.
violations, the fact that you did have violations during the after-school time now, it indicates there are still, there's folks that are coming off your ferries every day or after-school time that do need,
Be educated.
that do need this.
Wait
Yeah.
until you see the first nice Friday after the Facebook.
And we're hoping, it's what we've seen in other
Quite a
towns,
scene.
as one town takes on the campaign, others around say, hey, we want to get involved in that, so hopefully they have success doing it in another community.
It's not only the
Yes.
ferries. I'm sorry, Nancy Messina, 23 A North Street. It's not only the ferries, there's tourists. They're here, we have a lot of restaurants, and we love it, it's great for our town, but they kind of forget that there's streets and there's cars, and people walk right in kids, yeah.
But not only that, it's us too.
That's, yeah.
I sat on the front porch with my friends on Woodwich Avenue complaining about how the cars race up.
Yeah.
You know him. That's his kid. So it's not just,
No, I know, but I'm
No,
saying the tourists.
it's all of us. We all have to pay attention or somebody's gonna get hurt,
Right.
you know?
We have that problem, we've done a campaign in LBI for many, a few years now, and they get an influx of tourists, right, every week, or every 2 weeks, a new bunch. So again, we are trying to educate everyone, the walker, the bike rider, the runner, and the motorist. Just again, as clicker or ticket is in everyone's mind, or when a little kid knows to buckle up immediately, we want people to know where to walk, where to cross, which side of the street to be on, so.
Anyone else? If not, I'd like to thank you for your presentation and your help.
Thank you, sir.
Materials here.
So Mayor, moving on, approval of the minutes, April 6, 2017. Those minutes are not, they're still pending, so we won't vote on those tonight. Public comment on the consent agenda?
Well, I think
I'm sorry?
Consent agenda R 17-102 should be pulled. place under other business. That is an appointment with the approval of the mayor. Deputy Emergency Management Coordinators are appointed by the Office of the Emergency Management Coordinator with the approval of the mayor. So that should be pulled and put under other business. Okay. Under R17-105 payment of bills, it's my understanding that there will be one item removed from the payment of bills to be voted on separately. That is the item identified as SK101 Skill Path Seminars, 17-00427 for Administrative Assistant Class S Brown in the amount of $199. And it's my understanding that that is being pulled from the payment of bills list off the consent agenda. The remainder of the bills will remain on the consent agenda of R17-105.
Would anybody like to move the payment of bills?
I would like to move it with the caveat that the grant writing services line item be moved to the appropriate portion of the budget, that is grant writing services, and not under mayor and council clerk.
I'll second that.
Can I have a second on the motion?
Mayor
Oh,
second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Ms. Braun?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. DeRigo?
Yes.
Ms. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Now we'll move on to public comment agenda, on the consent agenda.
Good. We got another issue on the
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Well, first you have to vote on the consent agenda on the bills that remain.
table. Okay,
No, you did a separate motion.
Okay.
Okay.
Did.
R17-105. No, you just did the motion on separate on one line item.
So this is for the one that was pulled for the skill pack?
That was pulled for the grant writing, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So now we'll vote on R17-105 with the caveat that the grant writing is addressed and that one item is pulled. So now we vote.
And I'll offer.
Ms. Braun?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. DeRigo?
Yes.
Ms. Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Nolan?
No.
O'Neill?
That's the payment of bills with that one item that's been removed.
Okay. Now, the public portion, Brian?
So now you're
Now
gonna
we
vote on
discuss
the one item.
fee.
The payment of bills was everything except for that one item.
Okay.
Yes, resolution 17-105 passed.
Now the other.
Now you're voting on that one line item for skill path seminars in the amount of $199.
The reason I had this pulled is because the person that is going to be going to this class in theory is not an employee of ours. It's not a part-time, full-time employee, it's a temporary employee. I don't think that we should be sending that person, or any person in that category, to school and paying for it. That's my belief. Whether it's $1, $200, whatever, I don't think that's a good policy to set.
So can someone introduce it? Mayor?
Is there a motion to approve the $199 bill or?
Yeah, is there a motion to approve it?
I'll offer it.
Also.
Roll call.
Ms. Braun?
I will say yes, and I will say that after conferring with the borough administrator, that this temporary position will be a position that will be filled through the remainder of this year, at the very least. And so I feel that this training will be beneficial to both the residents and to the other employees at the borough office.
Mr. Card?
Before I cast my vote, I would like to state that our dollar average on training, you can't put a dollar on that. We can get extra, better productivity out of this employee, whether it's temp, part-time, full-time. We have to do it, because one of the things things I've discovered as a sitting council member, a lot of our employees are not up to speed on their training and job responsibilities. So education is important. So I vote yes.
Ms. DeRigo?
I vote yes for the same reason, that I feel education of any employee should be a requirement, not just at the whim of anybody, so I vote yes.
Ms. Wells?
I'm gonna vote no, with the mayor. I just believe that we're kind of setting a precedent with sending training for temporary employees.
Mr. Ryan?
What's, like, I'm still
I
talking
vote no
about-
because I'm all for educating our employees, all in part-time, our employees, and nobody else. Regardless
So,
of how long they're gonna be here, so I vote no.
so the payment for the, of $199 for Skill Path seminars, has been approved to be paid.
Sure.
Yes. Now we'll have a public comment on the resolutions.
Okay. Public comment?
No, it's the regular resolutions. What resolution?
There's 4 or 3 on that agenda.
30406. You might have an old agenda.
It's the.
The resolutions are R17-103, issuance of a conditional mercantile license for Captain's Cove Marina for 2017. Resolution R17-104, adopting green purchasing policy. Resolution 17-106, awarding contract for professional engineering services for riff-raff mitigation program, South Bay Pump Station.
Resolution R17-106 will identify CME Associates in the amount of $11,500.
Anybody like to ask a question? Or-
Hey,
Well,
Greg Wells again, 46 Bayside Drive. The mercantile license, 17103, I may have missed this, but I know at a meeting or two ago, you were gonna have him put up a bond to ensure that he was going to rebuild the docks.
That's all been done.
And there was a wide range of money discussed. What was the final amount that we're gonna have him put up to get that done?
$150,000 bond.
And that, just to refresh my memory, everyone else, how does that compare? There was some kind of calculation that was done based on recent bonds that were put up, based on linear feet? How'd that
Yes,
come
it
in?
was a calculation based on linear feet, and it's similar to the calculation per linear foot that was done for Bolton's project.
Okay,
It's the exact same.
okay, yeah. So it's a reasonable amount, that's,
Yeah.
I don't know if 150 is enough or not enough, but it seems like it's a reasonable amount based on what we're charging them. Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Mr.
Hi,
Rosiak?
Fred Rosiak, 9 Marine Place. To your question, we're talking about a bulkhead that was built roughly 40 feet high, backfilled over 9 foot of earth, built to a standard that's unbelievable, and I'm paying basically a bond to compare to that construction. So to say it's reasonable is a real
Well, it's bond.
exaggeration.
The bond.
Well, let's not get between the two of us, okay?
No, but I just want to make sure he was
The bond
concerned
is
that, what the comparable was.
It's $150,000.
To answer your question, it was calculated by the borough engineer.
Anyone else with any questions on these 3 issues? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion and ask for a motion. Anybody like to move that? Then I will.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Ms. Bruin?
Yes.
We'll wait, okay, this is
It's 103.
I'm sorry.
R17-103, the issuance of a conditional mercantile license for Captain's Cove Marina.
Correct.
Ms. Bruin?
Yes.
Mr. Card?
Yes.
Ms. DeRigo?
Yes.
Ms. Wells?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Resolution 17-103 passed. Resolution 17-104, adopting green purchase policy.
Open it again. All three, okay. Would anybody like to offer that?
I'll offer it.
A second?
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Ms. Rowan?
Yes.
Mr. Card?
Yes.
Mr. Rigo?
Yes.
Ms. Wells?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Resolution 17-104 has passed. Resolution 17-106, awarding contract for professional engineering services for RIP-RAP mitigation program, South Bay Pump Station.
As indicated previously, this award will be to CME Associates in the amount of $11,500.
Anybody like to offer that?
I will.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Ms. Ruan?
Yes.
Mr. Card?
Yes.
Mr. Rigo?
Yes.
Ms. Wells?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill?
Yes.
Mayor, Resolution 17-106 has passed.
Very good. Okay.
Next on the agenda is ordinance introduction.
Public hearing.
Okay. Ordinance public hearing, possible adoption, 017-11, amending the Borough Code by adding registration fees for summer camp programs, summer rec programs.
I'll open it up to the public. Anybody like to comment on this? Oh, Ms. Bucko.
Carol Bucko, 330 Shore Drive. I did some research on this, and I have some facts from last summer. 151 children signed up. There were 18 employees hired. That's 8 kids for each employee. Since they don't have to make a commitment by paying a small registration fee, only 60 or less children showed up regularly. So now each employee is responsible for about 3 children. But it was mentioned last meeting that sometimes the employees are sent home. But do we still pay them for their regular service or not? I don't know whether that's a fact or not. The meals are provided based on the percentage of free or reduced lunch during the year at the elementary school. So if that's true and 151 kids showed up, you would only have meals provided for 99 children. Because that's how they figure the provision for the meals. But I'm told that they only order meals for less children, and they expect them not to show up. Just sign up, don't show up, but we'll hire 18 employees to take care of them. Okay? That was based on the 66% that the Board of Education is throwing out as reduced or free meals. I think that paying a small registration fee makes the program more viable because people will tend to attend. And it's $35 for 2 kids, my God. A babysitter costs more than that for 2 hours. So I just think that it's ridiculous. And somebody said it might be prohibitive if they have to pay for more children. Well, it's $35 for 2 children and $10 for each additional child of residents. It's higher for non-residents, and it should be. It would only be prohibitive if you had 9 kids. And I don't know anybody in this day and age having 9 kids, because then it would be $100. So, if there are 9 kids in the family, I'll help pay for it. Geez.
All right.
Anyway, but I don't think if anyone had that many children lived in Highlands, I would have to pay for them. Of course, if parents hold out, hoping to get a freebie, and then they register late, there should be a charge for that too. There should be a cutoff time. Anyway, I have looked at a lot of towns, and there are lots of towns poorer than Highlands. And why do we always have to classify ourselves as poor? Why do we always look for freebies? It's not right. You act like you're the poorest people on the universe, and you're not. The people all over the place smoking, drinking, everything. you know, but many poor areas in Highlands claims to be, doesn't charge a much higher fee. And all of that is much cheaper than a babysitter for the summer. And Becky, it just came to my attention late this evening that you have relatives working in the rec, and therefore you should not vote on anything involving the
I don't have relatives in voting, working in the rec, they did last summer.
rec. And they won't come back this year.
I don't know, nobody's been hired.
Well, you don't know, so therefore I don't think we should.
No,
vote.
Mayor, come on, that's too far.
All right. Anyway, I just think there should be a fee. I think it's not a lot of money to ask. And, you know, if you look at the people walking down the street, they're not as poor as they pretend to be.
Anybody else? Okay. They can't decide.
Greg Wallace, 246 Bayside Drive. That brings up an interesting point, and just for the record, I'm on the Recreation Committee. I have a young child who takes advantage of the services in town, so I'm very, very pro this camp, but something seems a little off with this program. And the $35 fee seems very, very reasonable to try and help get some kind of control and some kind of commitment from parents, right? It's gonna be a lot different running a program that's a camp, which is what it's supposed to be, with a set number of kids coming. That's a lot different equation than having to run what we have today, which is drop-in daycare. Without a commitment from parents and without any kind of controls, this is unlike any other camp that you can pay for in Monmouth County. This is drop-in daycare. With that said, and Becky, no offense, but isn't there isn't there rules about being conflicted? Like if you have relatives who are on the payroll,
But I don't.
you're
right
not
now,
supposed to
at
be
this point.
voting on this.
She doesn't have relatives on
They were on the payroll last year.
So
Last year.
That was last year.
So
That's irrelevant.
is that, can I get just from the lawyer, that
No, you
doesn't
can't.
cause any kind of conflict?
It's not.
I represent the borough, Ms. Kane's been on this council for a number
I-
of years, and
I'll
let
say-
me fit in as well versed in conflicts, also knows what her obligations are.
Yeah, there's a mere appearance of conflict, so by what I learned at the legal municipality, if a family member directly or indirectly may benefit from employment or a financing of the program, yes, that's a mere appearance of a conflict. So yes, she should recuse herself from that. That's my opinion as an elected official, so in this position, I think Ms. Kane should recuse herself.
And I would think that's similar to the Army Corps, when you're gonna enter into
think?
that agreement, and you
You
came in to vote against it, when you were gonna have those agreements in front of you as a property owner, you don't have them at that time. My stepdaughter at this time is not employed by the borough of Highlands, nor do I know if she will come back this summer.
Then
She's
But
getting
if
ready
we,
to go
if we
to college,
vote
and I don't
to
need
put some
explain that to
controls
you.
and potentially reduce the number of staff that we would need for this program, and again, that's the goal here. It's not to punish any residents, and again, I know it hurts, right? It always hurts when somebody's taking a program away that used to be free and now making you pay. But you know what, it also hurts our taxes, right? We are here every meeting complaining about taxes.
So what am I getting for my taxes? What is anybody, we're already paying to have this program here.
The
The
goal
program
here,
has
as
to
I
be-
understand it,
Wait, the program has to be run better. There has to be a reason for these kids to come here, okay? That's what you wanna have. You wanna embellish the program so people wanna come.
yes,
That's not what's
I agree, but also,
That's
we have
what
to
the main
get some kind
focus
of
should be there.
control. We have to get some kind of control over the discrepancy between the number of people who sign up and the number of people who attend. Any other
I
business.
just told you what the problem was. Put a product out there that's worth, my kids wanna go there.
And that's a
Really,
fair
that's
point,
not
but
happening.
isn't there also a problem if there's no controls, right? I know this because I do daycare. I do camps. Every other daycare, every other camp in Monmouth County that I've been able to research and find requires you to make some kind of minimum commitment. You have to commit to the number of weeks and you have to commit to a number of days per week.
But you're talking about privately owned daycare.
No,
You're not
I'm
paying
talking
tax-
about publicly owned daycares and they're not
None that you
daycares,
put your
camps.
tax dollars to.
Camps, public camps, private camps, all of these programs to avoid being a drop-in daycare because they want to run it like a camp. They don't want random people showing up one day a year. They want to have a cohesive program.
Well, not everybody lives like that. Not everybody lives like that. Not
What do you mean not everybody lives? Not everybody wants a
in
cohesive
this
program
town
for their children.
wants their kid, or not every kid that lives in this town wants to come to the rec center every day.
But that's the thing.
So you shouldn't
This is
have
a
to do
camp.
that.
This is not a drop-in daycare. There's plenty of drop-in daycare facilities that are available. And you
Okay.
can go do that, but this program is not supposed to be a daycare facility.
Okay, are you done?
It's marketed as a camp.
Okay.
And if it is marketed as a camp, we have to have some kind of controls over the attendance and over who's signing up.
Mr. Goddard?
Ray Goddard, 200 Portland Road. I didn't come here today to talk about this subject, but it has been on all 4 of the Highlands blogs, so I've commented on it, and what I've said is that there are people who cannot afford to go and pay the $35, and I know these people, and I have taken them to the food bank because they're too proud and they don't have enough food. And what I said was I was going to be part of the solution for those folks if this resolution or ordinance does pass, instead of part of the problem and complaining about it. And I will sponsor children who, if they cannot afford, the families can't afford it, I will sponsor those children and I'll raise money for those children, and then we can have it both ways. But to sit there and say that it's only $35, let me tell you something, there are children in this town who go to bed hungry every night, and I know who they are, okay? So don't ever look me in the eye and tell me it's only $35, because there are people who don't have 35 cents, all right? So I will volunteer to be part of the solution. I'll organize a group of people, and if we have people who want to come to this facility and they want to use it, and here's the other thing, we're going to have a lot more kids this year because we're going to have lifeguards, and there was a lot of people that didn't come last year because we had some issues with the lifeguards. We're going to use this facility. It's a beautiful facility. Let's use it. Let's get the most out of it, and let's not look down on somebody and say it's only $35. And that's all I got to say about
Mary Ann File, 300 Shore Drive. I'm the board chair at Highlands Elementary School, so I will absolutely say that 66% is as accurate as it can be. 2 years ago, we implemented through a grant a breakfast after the bell program because so many of our school children were coming to school hungry, not able to function, not able to do well on the PARCC tests that I know the council has referenced so many times, those scores. After we noticed that was improving the quality of life of those children, we then worked with a 501c3 called Backpack Group that gives those 66% of those children a backpack full of food to provide them with 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, fresh fruit over the weekends and extended breaks during the school year. The recreation center was a drop-off point for those families last summer. That backpack group comes in here on I don't know if it's Monday through Thursday, whatever the last day the rec is open throughout the summer, and they come in and drop the backpacks off at that Thursday, and then they pick them up on that Monday, and they continue to do that cycle throughout the summer program. Those families are given baskets at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, at Easter, and most of those families are sponsored for Christmas presents because those families would not have nearly what some people in this room might be inclined to think that they have. So that number is not fictitious, it's factual. It's reported to the government every year. And I know you're shaking your head at me, Claudette, but it actually is factual.
Wait.
My other problem that I have is that I didn't get to come to the meeting last month, but I did listen to it online. And we kept referring to a median income of $60,000 or $65,000. I would like to know what the median income is of the families that are utilizing the building, because I think that is a more telling number than the families that are not. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be programs for those families, for the seniors, or for the empty nesters. But that's up to the rec department and the rec committee to create those programs. We shouldn't be taking away the program from the kids in this community because there isn't a lot to offer for our kids. And I think what you're gonna see is happening is those families that can't afford that $35, that maybe their parents go to work, they're gonna leave them home alone. And they might be in 4th grade, and I know that's not the responsibility of the council, but it's true, that's what's going to happen, because those families do rely to bring their kids here so that they can work through the summer. $35 isn't a big deal for me. I would pay that, that's not a problem. But what I know would happen for myself is I would drop them off on Monday, maybe not on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. By me paying that, it's not gonna guarantee I'm gonna bring my kids here. And I think that's the same for a lot of people, you know, if they pay the money, that's not guaranteeing they're gonna come here Monday or Thursday, that's not gonna fix the problem. So, maybe there's an alternative, plan, or there could be, but I don't think charging $35 is gonna guarantee that you're gonna have those kids come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Because quite frankly, my kids have play dates, my kids go other places during the week, you know, if I'm not working. And I don't think it's going to fix the problem. You know, for 2 years, you had it at the elementary school. Who wants to drop their kid off at the elementary school where it's 100 degrees and they're walking down the hill to have recess or playtime or whatever they're doing? No kids want to do that. So maybe those numbers that you're basing last year's projections off, or the year before, or the year before that even, aren't as accurate as they seem, because they weren't really great conditions, and I don't think a lot of children utilize the program because of that reason. No kid wants to sit here and stand on the deck here and say, oh, we can't go swimming because there's no lifeguard. Yeah, you're gonna have them this year, but that doesn't, you know, fix last year. And that could be another reason why there was such a low amount of children that were attending.
I know for myself, and I had 3 kids and they all went through this program, and they went most of the time. But when I said we're picking up and we're going with wherever your friends are coming, we're going to Pennsylvania for a week or 10 days, that's what we did. And we walked out of this place, and when we were done, we came back. Nobody's standing at that door is telling me that I'm not coming back. I'm a taxpayer in this town, and I support this place. That's how it is. I don't see any benefit, and I know how kids are. And I think anybody sitting here that has kids of a relatively young, but not real young age knows our money don't mean nothing to them. We can buy all, I remember my father getting me and my brothers, my sisters, passes at Clearwater Pool, going back that far. I went there about 3 times. I didn't care for it. None of us went there. That was the only time we did it. So my father couldn't make me go there. He could do something about it when I came home. He found out I didn't go there. But on the front side, and that's, I'll bet there's kids here today that get dropped off. Yeah, okay, see you later, Mom. There's someplace else. Paying's not going to change that. You got to make this place attractive for kids to come to and want to come to. You know, that's how I see it.
And what is the registration money going for? Is it going to be to enhance the programs here?
It's going to go to administrative costs because we have so many people that are 18 employees that are working with 3 kids possibly. But I do want to correct you on something. I went to doc.state.newjersey.us, which is where the statistics came from. And the 2015 to 16 percentage on the meal program is 52% for Highlands. I also want to point out that our town, out of 58 towns, has the 3rd highest tax rate in the county, out of 58 towns. There are only 3 other towns that are worse than us, which are Roosevelt, Shrewsbury Township, and Union Beach. We're strangling our taxpayers here. We have to help offset some of these costs for our taxpayers. We also have one of the highest per capita, per student rate that we're paying to educate our children.
I'll correct that, that's at Henry Hudson, and that was in the paper this weekend.
Oh, I'm not going off of what.
Well, I've seen a couple council members, some of wife respond to that article and post it, but that is at Henry Hudson. So, yes, they are one of the highest per pupil student cost, but
Carol, please.
The statistic I came across was we spent about $20,000 to educate our grammar school children, is that correct, per year?
say that
About
again.
$20,000?
I don't know that off the top of my head, so
That's
I'll
what
never
I pulled from this
put
site.
that on there.
But that's neither here nor there. Our rates are so high, our tax rate is one of the highest, we all know that. We're funding free programs with this tax rate, so it's really not free. The taxpayers are paying for it. So our rates are gonna still go up, you're going to get your free program, but you're gonna pay up more in taxes. So the taxpayers ultimately are getting strangled here. Every other town in Monmouth County has a registration fee.
And every other town in Monmouth County has other programs and services. Asbury Park is huge. Go online and talk to people at Asbury Park. Yeah, they might have a little fee to pay to send their kids to the rec program, but they also have a real high crime rate for the kids that can't afford to go to the rec program. And they also have other programs and services that Highlands doesn't provide. And we talk about the cost per student rate. We held a budget hearing last week. Not one person in this community came. So it was a public hearing. Yes, Carolyn was there, and Rick O'Neill did come, Mayor O'Neill, they came. Nobody else from the community was there. So if there's so many concerns about what the cost per student is, listen, show up. It's a public hearing. We hold them every year, same time, and they're
That's
at.
not what the point is. The point is that every other town charges a registration fee. There are towns where, and you may argue the median income statistics, but they're the statistics of this town. You can't argue what the stats are that are submitted to the state of New Jersey as the median income of the town. I'm not making that up. I don't choose to make that up. Our median income is $10,000 more per family, median income, than Red Bank. They're charging $75 a week for their summer camp for a half day.
Yeah, but the problem
And their
is
kids
maybe
can
they
go
don't
for
have
free
the
to the
disparity
YMCA
in
if
income
they
that we
apply
have here.
and qualify. Are you gonna let those kids apply and qualify to come for free? Because Red Bank can apply to go to the YMCA. And if your income is at a certain standpoint and fits their parameters, your kid will go on a grant to
I know,
the
I
YMCA.
worked at the Red Bank, I was director there, I understand that program.
So let's do that, because I think what you're gonna have is those 150 people that apply, about 90, like Carol said, are gonna qualify for a free grant. So if you're gonna do that, I'm all for it, because then you're inclusive of both those that can and those that can't. That would be a fine alternative.
Talk about taxes, Claudette.
Are we talking $5,600? When you do the math, we're talking $5,600. Meanwhile, there's, I'm sure, other budget items or line items that you could cut $5,600 from easily. I'm done.
But as a taxpayer, listen to what Claudette's saying. What am I realizing in savings? You haven't brought that up. What am I realizing as a taxpayer when people come and they pay a fee to put their kids here? What am I realizing? I'm not realizing that because you're getting money and you're putting it into a fund. The fund's not doing anything here.
You have to start somewhere.
Well, I mean,
You
I think
have to start.
We'll start with improving the program. That's your job on the recreation committee.
Hold on.
In order to do
That's
that,
not our job on the recreation committee. We have a recreation director hired by the town.
wait, no.
You're spreading misinformation.
No, you're out of order now. Be quiet.
We do not have a recreation director. We have an associate that works in the recreation department that does not have a recreation background. We cannot expect her to do the job that a recreation director does because we do not have a recreation director to run the program. So that's not a fair evaluation. Now, if you would like to hire a recreation director, then, there's a huge disparity here. You're asking an individual, now you're saying we have to improve the program. You're asking an individual that doesn't have the background nor the capabilities to do that, but that's not her job title and she doesn't have the background and we as a council, as a town, cannot expect her to do that job.
But
That's not her job.
At the last meeting, Doug said we were doing this to make the program more robust. But now you're saying it goes into administrative fees. Administrative fees is not a more
A
robust
registration
program.
fee is always for
doesn't.
administrative costs, whether it's the paper, whether it's the staffing that's doing that administrative work, that's what an administrative fee does.
Well, is the goal to get to a more robust camp? I mean, and I'm on the
Well,
rec committee, and I know we haven't discussed
I
it
would-
at all, I'm correct, right?
I would love to,
We haven't
discussed
discussed
last
it
year.
more.
but
Mr.
that's
Wells, just stop.
she's
No,
asking-
just stop. Just stop, okay?
She's asking the audience.
Just stop.
But
That's all.
since this has come up, I mean, I know we have not discussed it at all to get some of the input from some of the parents that sit on the board that have kids in school. So I think some of these issues would have come to light through those subcommittees before it got to this point. That's what I'm saying. If you utilize the rec committee for what, for things like this to say, what are your thoughts? Yay, nay, do you think it would work? Mary Ann could have came down as a resident and said, this is why I think it'll work or not, and we could have tweaked things. But now we're at this point that here we are, it's the 11th hour, registration's late already, there's deadline dates. We don't really know what the money's going for other than paper.
Well, I did discuss this at the very first recreation meeting in February.
Well, just later than normal, because we were gonna push it off,
Yeah.
because of the date of the ordinance,
Not good, but-
No, last year it was June 15th, 14th, something.
for the
Right around
end
five.
paperwork went out. So.
Ms. Campbell?
I think this ordinance is a train wreck. I think this ordinance should be
name and
tabled.
address,
Oh,
please.
Irene Campbell for Drive Highlands. I think that it should be tabled till next year, like Becky was saying, there are so many questions. Last week, I was told that the fee was a deterrent, so kids would calm down, so administration costs.
I never said that.
Is it,
I never
you
said
didn't
that.
tell me it was a deterrent to the, excuse me, I may be wrong, I thought I heard that, sound to me. At any rate, $35 a kid, for 100 kids, $35, that's gonna lower our tax rate, is that gonna lower, I mean, I hear we're renting out the recreation building, isn't that bringing money in? Then you said the, as a deterrent to the absenteeism. Do you realize that we had 40 kids last year from the elementary school that went to summer school, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, couldn't come here, came on Fridays? Kids didn't come here also because they couldn't swim, because you had no lifeguards. I think that this year may be different, but I think that there's so many questions that are unanswered that I think we have to, it has to be tabled. Now, and you said, yes, you did, you said as a deterrent, and somebody else in the audience said they were
I
gonna
never used the
they were
word
gonna
deterrent.
sponsor kids, a deterrent to the absenteeism. They were gonna sponsor kids, and then I thought, well,
said it was going to be a deterrent from absenteeism.
yes, you did.
I watched it, like that, it's online.
And now it's gonna.
I think I said it.
You know,
I think I said it.
$3,500,
Please.
it's crazy. Just table it till next year, like Becky said, have subcommittees, think about it, toss it back and forth. It's a mess.
Nancy Messina at North Street, Highlands. There's been several things I wanted to bring up. One of them was, I think it should be tabled to next year, and I think if we, in discussions about it, yes, maybe you charge a fee, but make it smaller. Make it so it can be affordable, and do it gradually over a few years, and let people know about it. There are a lot of people that can't afford it here, and they're too proud. I'll be honest with you, when my girls were here, we had 2 bad years, they would have sat home by themselves because I couldn't afford to send them $35. I couldn't. Luckily now we're in much better shape, but back then we weren't. And there are a lot of people like me. So, I'm not really, I guess maybe I am tugging at your heartstrings and that you're not gonna make your decision on that, but I just think it really needs to be discussed.
Mike, you want to say something?
Yeah, will there be a pay,
Your name and address, please.
Mike Mullins, Miller Street? Is there gonna be a pay scale for the residents that are receiving Section 8 to send kids, or it's gonna be $35 for
I don't
everybody?
think there are many concessions made.
No, it's a flat rate.
So even the Section 8 kids will have to pay?
Anybody that shows up, it's all the same. That's how it is right now.
So there's no dollar value?
Oh, wait a minute, Ms. Brulon is gonna look at that.
There's no, it says that it is at the discretion of the borough administrator. You look at the,
So we don't wanna put a dollar value on training a temporary employee, but possibly saving a kid? We're gonna price that out at $35?
hang on, let me just get to your, the determination as to entry into the program as well as required fees shall be made by the Director of Recreation, which we don't have one, and or the borough administrator.
So you would file an application for the borough, to the borough administrator, if there's a need to have the fee waived, and it would be based on the borough administrator's decision based on the economic needs of that individual family or that individual, which is the way it's done in other areas. And it is the lowest fee around. At $35, there is no other program down that low
So,
in the county, in this county.
so from my understanding, my research, I understand Tim Hill would often do that quite often with children in the community, work with those families in need. So that's the vehicle to solve potentially some of these problems with.
Right, for basketball camp and something like that,
Yeah,
it would lower the fees.
So if there is a vehicle for, that way, as I understood, but, okay, thank you. Thank you for clarity.
Mary Salzman, Snow Harbor. I'm so frustrated with this conversation because the communication is so off. I mean, here, everybody is looking at the little tiny details instead of looking at the big picture, which is that you have somebody here who's actually trying to get a hold of things. Is it a perfect system? Maybe it's not. And the idea that no one actually previously discussed until you brought it up, the idea that if somebody is really in need and they can't afford the $35, let them go. It's okay, you know? I mean, most people will say, here's the $35, and somebody may come along and say, can't do it, I'm sorry, and that's okay. You know, whenever school starts, you always get this, you know, the free lunch form to fill out, and you do that in, you know, with a sense of privacy, and you hand it in, and you get whatever it is that you need. And so this could be the same kind of thing, but the idea that everybody is somehow upset that Claudette is trying to, you know, make some minimal change to try to get a handle on a system that doesn't really seem to be working is completely absurd. I think of you guys as you guys are like the board members of our company, and you need to talk to each other. You don't need to like each other, but you need to communicate with each other. This is like a little tiny detail that could have been discussed, and we could have avoided 2 weeks of nonsense. It's ridiculous. It's $35. It's a small amount of money, maybe not a small amount of money for some people, and that's okay. So they don't have to pay. But I mean, how are you going to fix these enormous problems like spending millions of dollars on flood mitigation if we can't even have enough communication for $35 for camp? It's unbelievable. Sorry, I had a bad day.
No, you're
No, you nailed it.
No, you're right. You're right on there. You're right on there.
Thank you.
You know.
Thank you. I mean, I this is like continuous. And I'll give you another really good example.
You
I
have
find
before.
it very frustrating that Doug, who worked on all of the flood mitigation programs prior to you becoming mayor, has all of a sudden been sort of, you know, cast outside of the little club that's now making these choices. That's an enormous amount of knowledge that somebody gained during the time that, you know, he has been doing this. Now, again, nobody needs to agree with him, but that's a source of knowledge and understanding that you all might not have right now. And as somebody who's going to suffer the consequences of whatever it is you decide, I think it's really important that you all come together. And again, you don't need to like each other. It really doesn't matter, but you need to communicate. That's the end of my speech.
Very good. You probably said the truest thing I won't say about it here. But, you know, to me, and I've been part of some of this conversation, this is something that's going to happen depending upon what anybody says here. This is going to carry, okay, because it's already been decided beforehand. And a lot of the driving force behind it is a resentment of an individual that people come here for free. That was clearly stated. That was stated in that back room right there. I'm resentful that these people don't pay for this. And that's not the right way to go. That's not the right way to go. Because there are people in this town that are on the balls of their ass. That's as simple as I can put it. That's how it is, you know? And I myself was raised to help those out that need a hand, okay?
Right.
And I'll do my share.
Right. And
But you shouldn't have to make a person grovel or come and I use another term, but and expose and come and plead on his knees for some help. You don't have to,
I don't think
because
it's
the
anything like
$35 is not making a difference. It's not going to make a difference. I'm telling you that right now.
It makes a difference in the big picture though, because what it says,
In what big picture?
in the big picture, and what it says is we are trying to get we are trying to systemize our, what it is we're doing.
Okay, go with that.
So this might be a small thing.
We're trying to systemize it. Well, let's systemize it first and see what the real going price is,
Well,
rather than arbitrarily saying $35. Let's see what the real
arbitrarily
is.
saying
Let's
$35 is like the starting point.
Let's provide a commodity here that people want to have their kids to come to, and those kids want to come to.
Well, can I address that for a second?
Sure you
Because
can.
I stand there all summer and watch what goes on here, and those kids have a blast. Now, people, as it was said before, people have other reasons that they don't send their kids, and they still might not send their kids. But maybe you'll have a little bit more organization over it this summer as a result of this. And maybe next summer you'll have even more. So I don't know how you energize the program, but that's a different conversation than this is.
No, it's hand in hand. It's hand in hand. We have to provide a product where people want to go. They want to go to. That's what you have to do. We have to provide an atmosphere, an aura, a visual concept of this town that makes people want to come here. It's all hand in hand. Right now what's going on is a knee-jerk reaction to try to make some change, and I don't think it's going to work. It hasn't been looked into enough as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you told me that I said something very true, but
Oh,
when
you
I
did.
hear you say that this is a knee-jerk reaction, instead of somebody taking the reins and saying, let's try to, make a program, make a system, make a plan to do it a little bit differently this summer, and let's see if we can get a hold on it. That tells me that we're not actually speaking the same language. So.
Well, in my opinion, you're actually putting lifeguards on the beach here today. That should increase the participation right off the bat.
Well, as Greg Wells just pointed out to me, the kids can't, by law, actually swim on the beach during the program.
Yes, they
can.
can. New Jersey standards.
Not according to camp standards.
But
Guys,
Is this up as part of the rec committee?
Mr. Wells, would you stop? Just stop, okay? You don't have the floor, you cannot speak, okay? You don't have the floor, okay? The lady next to you has the floor.
Well, I'll give the
Used with
floor.
the same, ladies, we don't get into that argument. Okay, you done with the floor?
I am.
This,
Ms. Guida, Hillside Court Highlands. This is not Claudette trying to organize the rec center. She has a vendetta against the person that runs it, Jen. She's been trying to get rid of Jen. The money is not going into the programs. The money is going into a general fund. She's sitting there saying the money's going to go to administration. The money is going into a general fund for the town. It's not even going into administration.
That's
not
true.
Here.
Not true. If Pat de Blasio was
Wait a
here,
minute.
our CFO, excuse me, Mayor, I have the floor.
No, she has the floor.
She does, and I'm answering her question. She made a false fight. Pat de Blasio, he said at the last meeting, it would go into a general trust for the Rex program. Okay? And it would have to be spent on Rex program elements. Okay?
That's first, I'm fine.
Okay?
No, that's not, I'm sorry, Mr. Carr, that is not true.
That's what he's.
When there are programs in the rec, committee, the money goes to a general fund, because the rec department, per the lawyer, I've had a conversation before, the rec money cannot raise money and have their own accounts. It's all in a general town account. So, although Claudette is trying to create Claudette slush fund with the rec department, so she can help her really get programs that she's just dying to have. And, Mayor, you may remember a couple of months ago that, Claudette insisted that the rec department she didn't have to come in here and say what happened in the meeting because her minutes and her agendas were online. Her minutes and her agendas are not online, and not even the correct dates of the meetings are online. So yet another Claudette lie.
You gotta stop.
Are you
You
done?
gotta stop.
No. It would be different if the money was going towards the programs. When kids come here, they have to pay extra for the field trips. If that money was going towards the field trips, for kids that can't afford the field trips, then that would be a different story. The field trips are never more than $24. Some kids can't afford that. Kids that cannot afford field trips on that day,
generally stay home because they don't want to watch the other kids getting on the bus. If that money was going towards that, it would be a different story. I would like to hear from Brian, I would like to know what his opinion is on if families can't afford it, would you be willing to let them still go to the summer camps? Since that question will come to you many times this summer.
I'm gonna seek the guidance from the council, what parameters they want set up, so I can make those decisions.
Because the ordinance is very vague, so maybe there should be more to the ordinance about that.
The ordinance just says discretion.
The ordinance was written very quickly, should be tabled to next year. And, you know, it's one thing to sit there and keep repeating the same false information and trying to make it true. But the kids in this is a wonderful town. This town is a diamond in the rough. The kids here enjoy being outside. They enjoy coming here in the summer. It's a well-run program. The kids had a great time last year. If you were here last year, my daughter came here last year, and the kids were so happy. And because it used to be held up at the school, the elementary school, and it was very hot. And it's much more open here, and they enjoy all the activities they have outside here. And to tell kids that they cannot come because that $35, and the minimum household average is not $60,000. There are many single parents in this town. There are many people that go to the local food pantry in this town just to get food. It would be such a disservice to all of the children in this town to charge them that money to come here when that money is just going to go to a general fund and not go back into the program. And the person running this program has been here 17 years, fills out a tremendous amount of paperwork. She cannot have this program without abiding by the New Jersey standard for summer camps. If you've read that New Jersey standard that she is in compliance with, that standard tells you exactly what you can and cannot do. To the point of what cleaners you can use to clean the building. For the swimming, it gives you exactly, it tells you, which she has the knowledge of that when the kids go swimming, there has to be 2 adults there plus the lifeguard. They're aware of that information. She has to get a permit to open it. If there are things that are not off, that she will not get a permit to run the program.
We're getting a little off track now with the personnel as opposed to the theory.
It would be such a disservice to the town. I mean, I have to wonder what the police department thinks about this. If these kids aren't coming here, you have a bunch of young kids running around town, you know, and it's true that cars just speed through this town, and you're gonna have kids run over, you're gonna have kids out there on the street.
Pat, you made your point. Understood. I'm closing public portion.
No, she's got her hand up for
I'm closing public portion.
No, I disagree with you, No, I give the floor to Katie Reed.
We don't have the ability to for the Katie.
Well, I'd
Close
like
the
to
public
know-
portion, put it to a vote, let's get it over with. It's gonna go how it's
If
gonna
someone has
go.
their hand up, she should be able to speak, let someone speak for them.
And I'm tired of it. You said, Doug, close it down, now it's closed.
Excuse me, Mayor, I say control the
I put
meeting.
it to a
I did
vote.
not say close it down.
You guys
Fine,
wanna
then
put
I'll
a vote on
offer it, and I'm gonna offer it with this. A lot of people don't know about my life before Highlands, but I was raised by a single mom, my sister and I. And growing up, I never knew that we were doing without, because my mother made it in such a way that, oh, you don't wanna order pizza when your friends come over, let me show you how to make a pizza, and made it fun for us. She paid way more than $1 a day, this is less than $1 a day, and that was in the 70s. And everybody knows $1 went a lot further in the 70s than it does today. My mother made sure that we were fed, clothed, educated to the best of her ability so that I was able to put myself through college. My sister put her way all the way through grad school. I wanted to talk to each of these things that a lot of people have said. Highlands does not have a lot to offer. This town has a ton of things to offer. We've got the community of hope that is helping out with a lot of children's programs that they want to help out with. Some run here, some they're going to do at the church. We've got our beaches. When we didn't have lifeguards, Mayor Nolan can attest that I watched his kids, not that I'm a lifeguard, but I watched his little ones when they were on Miller Beach. We have a strong sense of community of people looking out for each other. Going to bed hungry? I've gone to bed hungry. When there was no peanut butter and jelly, there was no jelly, I had a peanut butter sandwich. So don't say that I don't know what it is to be poor. And I don't know what it is for my mother, who I never realized in my childhood, who made such extreme sacrifices that I never realized I was doing without. I already covered the single parent, and Rick, you said you were raised to help people out.
Mhm.
Even though we didn't have a lot, we always helped people out. And
I'm
I'm just saying,
about
this is
it,
why
Carol.
I'm voting for this. I think it will help the program in the future. I think people will respect it going forward. And to help people out, I'm going on the record right now. I will sponsor 10 kids for this program because I'm in a good spot with my employment, and I know that other people need a hand up, not a hand out, and there's a difference.
Good job. Well said.
Okay.
I'll offer second.
Roll
No, I
call.
don't think you can speak anymore.
Roll call.
Ms. Braun?
Yes.
Mr. Card?
Yes.
Mr. Rigo?
Yes.
Ms. Wells?
I am voting no for the reasons and basically sentiments of Ms. File with the conditions up at the school and knowing how many kids really need this.
Mayor O'Neill?
No. Move on.
Ordinance 017-2011 passed with rec fees being paid at $35 per child.
Public, wait on other business. Resolution 1702, appointing the deputy emergency management coordinators with the approval of the mayor. Mayor is approving that, correct?
Yeah.
I'd like to put on record that the mayor's, I'm a little confused why you would put Charlie Wiles, who I really wanted to be our O&M officer, and Mr. Mark, who was committed to our community for years and established our O&M team. Both these gentlemen are in employments where the county goes into a state of emergency, they have to report to work. So I don't understand why you would appoint someone to a deputy position if Mr. Mason is unavailable or here in the chain of command. They come in, they're the second in command. So if these gentlemen were honorable men, like I said, I would have preferred Charlie Wells to be our O&M officer. How can they do
one big job?
But what happens if they both have to go report to work and we need them here? This community safety is at risk by not having the deputy OEM officers here on scene prepared to help this community in a time of need. I'm a little confused, that's all.
That was the recommendation made to me by people in the know. That's why. When Mr. Parker, he took care of the whole storm of Sandy. That was an emergency, and he was here every day. So.
Mr. Parker didn't have the position he has today.
That's all.
Just for the record, NJSA Act 8940-3, each municipal disaster control director shall appoint a deputy municipal disaster control director with the approval of the mayor. That's the way the statute reads.
Right.
In accordance with Directive 102, which was issued by the State Office of Emergency Management, each emergency management coordinator shall appoint one and may appoint more than one deputy emergency management coordinators with the approval of the mayor. So, just for clarification, the appointment is made by the OEM officer, and then it's with the approval. So I'm just wanting to clarify that that's what the statute is.
Your authority to do it, I'm just questioning.
That's not what he said, though.
What I'm saying.
The OEM guy makes the appointment.
No, and I agree, I'm in agreement.
With the mayor's approval.
With their mayor's approval. And my question to you is this, Mr. Mason, maybe you and Mr. Mason should have a conversation about the second deputy in charge. Mr. Parker and Mr. Wells will be contributing to this community, and the fire department and so forth, and continuing. But in the state of emergency, with the new, Mr. Wells now being in the sheriff's department, their mandate just went down 2 weeks ago. If Monmouth County goes on a state of emergency, they have to go into work. So Mr. Mason's second in command is no longer available. So I'm just confused with that.
His third is there.
He shall not be one, and if with more than one, he will be there.
So I'd rather see you be the deputy because by definition, you would have more authority.
That's on record. I'll speak with Mr. Mason.
Okay. We are on other business duck bill schedule.
Okay, we had a very productive meeting last week, myself, Mr. Gagan, Dale Luther, and Mark Philpott, our new DPW supervisor, and I apologize, I didn't, like Mary said, you could have joined if you
And
wanted
that's no
to.
problem.
I did say that to Brian.
No, and Brian said it right. Brian did communicate to me. We went over your meeting in full. You guys are right on track where I left off, so I'll do it.
I think it was just a matter of getting the right people in the room to know where their responsibility is going to be held. So basically, we went through the numerous spreadsheets of duck bills and where they're all located, and this is a spreadsheet done a few years ago on how much they would cost to fix. Prices may have changed. But our DPW supervisor is confident that by the end of the year, we can prioritize these first 5, which is at Jackson Street, Betts Park, Cedar, which is down by the Clam Hut, the Bridge, Hillside, and the bulkhead by the community center. So those are the 5 of utmost importance. Once you repair those 5, you will see a noticeable difference, and especially with Duck Bill 119, which is by the bulkhead by the community center, that will also lessen some of the importance of other ones in the surrounding area. So at least we know that Mr. Philpott's going to kind of run with this. He's going to be checking them all out. He's going to have to notify us if it seems that there may need engineering. Maybe the pipes aren't right, something's not totally right. But if he can go in there and repair them, he's going to start to do that pretty quickly, I would assume. We did have 2 of them in the DPW yard, which he does not believe would be of any use. They look like they almost came out of the river. He did not believe that they were brand new.
So they were used and then put into the yard instead of thrown
Probably
away?
instead of disposed of. He didn't feel that he could use them. That's, was what he said, so that's, okay, fine. So he's really gonna start the ball rolling, get them out there. He'll be reporting to Brian Gagan. I did ask Brian if we monthly can have a report on which ones have been fixed, which ones are still outstanding. Then we have many more that are open, but I think this 5 is gonna make a noticeable difference in the beginning. And we also, in addition to that, at the bulkhead here, it tends to kind of go like a sieve. The water just flows and flows, and it's down the streets, and it's everywhere. So Mark's also getting price quotes on repairing that part of the bulkhead. So that way we stop that water, which will then, people in the affected area will also see, I think, a noticeable change. Do you have anything to add, or was that pretty much summed it up, or?
Mostly, and also Dale is going to work on the engineering for Valley Street from Bay Avenue out to the water. That pipe work is badly needed repair.
Yes.
It's already bonded for and partially DOT funded.
I think to add to Becky's, this bulkhead out here, the bulkhead is Swiss cheese. And we had a local contract volunteer time attempting to fix it with no avail. We did not, and the mayor came in with the changing over was discussed, and I'm glad Becky's picking up. I know we're putting RFPs out to repair that. That's a hopefully below $20,000 hit, but I think that's downstream is going to affect a lot of the upstream duck bills here because the water's not going to get to them. It's going to allow the water to flow out, and we might find ourselves in a better position with a lot of the standing water in the streets. We start downstream like Becky's suggesting, to get that done, I think we're going to see a big positive effect. And quite honestly, what Mr. Rosiak's going to prepare at Captain's Cove, I think we'll have better success. Not complete, but better.
So now I'll add something. Statements that came from this table that said we have the duck bills and we've gone too late to put them in the water because it was too cold, were totally wrong. We have no duck bills. We have no idea of where they're going until now. Yes, I just want to clear that up.
I'll clear for the record. I made misunderstood the value of the duck bills that were in the DPW yard. I understood them to be, they were new. So that's why I said that.
No,
So for the
story
record,
that
I
came
will-
was, we had a grant, we bought duck bills, that we were gonna put them in, but it got too cold, and we didn't do it, but we never had.
I didn't, just for the record, just clarifying, because I don't want to be accused of not owning what I said. I did believe the duck bills that were on the DPW yard, that were found by Lou, were to be new. I don't believe I ever said you purchased new duck bills at this point in time.
Because there was always questions about the 70,000, 50,000,
No,
what we got, what we don't know.
For the record,
Okay, just for the
no,
record.
no, and for the record, for the mayor, and if I believe buying the duck bills are a waste of time at this point in time, because we have to engineer proper flow stormwater management. But it's such a big problem, I'm conceding to what Becky's doing here, and moving forward with Mark and solving some of these problems. The outfall pipe at Valley Street is engineered by T&M. I think it's a viable solution, okay? And I think they should move forward with that, especially since we got that pump up and running and moving it and running effectively. Same thing with the end of the street, okay? But my opinion, my observation, the duck bills are a small problem considering a lot of our bulkheads in this community are Swiss cheese, and so are our pipes. So I in stormwater is coming through the ground and up through the streets. If we could duck bill till we're blue in the face, we're still going to have standing and flooding problems.
Housing authority sewage changes?
That's Mr. Goddard.
Go ahead.
Ray Goddard, 200 Portland Road, but I come here today as your housing commissioner that you guys appointed me to be on the commission. And I would like to say that I've been appointed by 3 mayors and 4 different councils. So I guess I have to keep doing this until I get it right, I guess, right? But I wanted to let you know, give you a state of the union about the housing authority. We're one of 3,300 housing authorities in the country, and we are considered to be one of the best. And that thanks basically goes to the council, because the council, you guys have appointed great commissioners, and I can remember serving with Carol Bucko, who was a great chairperson, and many other people in town. But the money is tight. What happens is every year we submit a flat budget based on last year's actual cost. And over my 20 years, we have reduced the expense every year. We've cut payroll, we've shared services, we've done everything possible. We submit a flat budget, and the budget comes back, and we have a cut. Last year, it was 88% of what we absolutely had to have. Carol will know this. This year, with the new administration that's coming in, we're told we're going to have at least a 6% cut. So I, as a businessman, I'm looking at all the line items, and I'm looking at the sewer bill. And the sewer bill for the housing authority is $75,000 a year. It's $140 per quarter times the number of units for a 600 square foot apartment, and we pay the same amount of money for that as a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom house, perhaps on Portland Road or on Linden Avenue. And what I'm going to ask you to do is sit down as a group and figure out how you can give us some relief. We need to look at it, and we need to look at it objectively to say it's not right that 600 square feet pays $140 a quarter, and 6,000 square feet with 5 or 6 bedrooms pays $140 a quarter. And there are ways to do it. And I think that this council can do that for our senior citizens. And I will tell you, I was very encouraged to hear such a lively conversation about our kids today, because it means we care about our kids. But our second most important resource is our senior citizens. We have senior citizens today that if it wasn't for this Highlands Housing Authority, they would be homeless. They would literally be on the streets. Because you can be on Social Security, you can make $800 a month in Social Security, and you can live in the Highlands Housing Authority for $200. You can have a good quality of life, you can be warm, and you can have everything that you need to be safe. So it's a very important service that we provide, that you put the commissioners in place, like me, And I felt that I had a responsibility to come down here and let you know about that and to ask you to help me save some money to continue what we've been doing now for many, many years in this town, in the authority. We have an A+++ rating out of the 3,300 housing authorities. If you have 20% of your money in reserve compared to your budget, you're an A+. This housing authority has a 72% reserve. And so we're doing our share. And I'm going to ask you to review it. I'm going to give you a goal and a deadline because I'm older than all you guys. And I'm going to request that we get a 50% reduction from $140 to $70 for 18 months only
$70
per quarter.
per quarter.
Yeah, just $70. Carolyn's going to give it to me, actually. She told me. Last night she said. But $70 per unit per quarter, only for PTAC. So that's 95 units times $70. And I would
18
like
months.
you to, if you would,
Great, for 18 months.
18 months only.
Okay.
And Ms. Wells knows why, because we're putting in a new program that we're not going to have this problem going forward, the RAD program. And I'm going to ask you to let us know by July, because that's our new fiscal year. And then I think we can work together and we can figure out a way that we can preserve what we've created and save money, but we're running out of places to save money. And that's one of the places that I think if we look at it objectively and honestly, I think we can do it.
Did you receive a letter from the table about this?
Did I receive a letter from the table? No, I initiated a resolution.
Yeah, we discussed it last month, but there was no correspondence back from the clerk to the housing authority. I mean, I told them verbally what our decision was in executive, so they knew. But they didn't get any official correspondence back from the borough.
On that?
I apologize if I sit down and have a conversation with you
Sure.
and do some homework for it on behalf of the government.
And I'll be happy to participate. I mean, I think if we actually think about it, it might be a conversation that we ought to really talk about for the entire town. You know, why is it that it's $140 for every dwelling, every quarter? I mean, is that really the way it should be? Probably not.
The sad news is, and the sewer, we're not doing so good in this town with our sewer. Our INI is in bad shape. But let's not tie up the evening. Let's sit down with Carolyn. I think you did some pretty.
Yeah.
If it's okay with the mayor, the three of us sit down,
Sure.
have a roundtable discussion, win, lose, or draw, we'll figure something out, and then we can go from there.
Yeah,
I think that's the best method,
The
right?
statute defines residential specifically in regard to sewage, and, you know, the ordinance that created that rate was effective January 1, 2012, so.
I know that,
Just
and
keep that, just keep
read
that
the
in mind when you
ordinance.
have that meeting.
I read the ordinance, it says that the council has the right to make exceptions. And you're gonna tell me no, and you're gonna say if we do it for you, Ray, we're gonna have to do it for everybody. And I understand all the reasons why we can say no, but I think that smart people like us, I think we can sit down and figure out a way to do it and still pay all the bills.
But more
So
so
that's
than
all
that,
right.
we probably should look at it and see if it can be lessened for everybody.
Yeah, true.
Or at least made it possible, as Ray was saying, if you have a single apartment that's 500, 600 square feet, you've got one bathroom, or if you have a bigger house that has 2 or 3 bathrooms, and you've got more people, there's
I
gotta be
understand
another
the
way to do
process,
it.
I sat on the board.
Right, there's gotta be a more
She's the
equitable
one
way
that
to do
has
it.
the raise.
But anyway, thank you very much for your time.
Look, that's.
Co-board,
$93.
right, right, she's the one that had the raise that, right there. She came with the
No, no.
raise to the board.
Him.
No,
Him.
you.
One last thing, okay? We take care in our housing authority, Carol and I set up a point scoring system 20 years ago. So if you're a Highlands resident, you get extra points. So most of the people who live there are our friends, our neighbors, our family, people in Highlands. And we make sure we take care of our own in the Highlands Housing Authority. And that's very important to me personally. And that's why I keep doing it over and over and over.
I've sat on it for years, right, you know that.
Exactly. Okay. I'll be your time.
Borough calendar,
Yeah, just work, I know it's late, I know it's May, there's been a lot of back and forth, and then the school we wanted to really include all of the school events, but the schools didn't pass their calendars until, I wanna say it was mid-March. There was other delays with just formatting and other kinds of good stuff, but we are gonna put it out, even though it is May, it should be out before the beginning of June. But it will have a host of information that everybody asks. Everybody always wants to know when's bulk, when's brush, when's recycling pickup, when's my trash day? What is the telephone number extension for the borough administrator? A host of information that's not just gonna be about trash and recyclables. And as I said, the school stuff is in there, the committee meetings are in there, land use board, everything. That's gonna be a page in there. You also get that out as a flyer. In the, I guess either taxes or sewer, whichever comes first. But just to let you know it's coming. People have asked for it. It's coming soon.
Sorry. I asked you about changing the hours down at the recycling yard a couple days later on.
Sure.
Can we get that in there?
Right.
You know,
What hours do you
have
have?
them start later and shift it maybe, what's it closed, 3:30? It's 5:30 now. We just have people come in later in the morning. So guys that come home from work can go down here and dump their stuff. Because not everybody wants to spend a Saturday down there. Yes.
So it's going to be,
So the place used to lie overnight.
and then keep the Saturday hours as is.
Well, maybe put them a little earlier too. Hours earlier. So people can get their recycling and stuff done and get out after that. Rather than wait till 11 o'clock to get there. It's 10 to 1.
So we do want 2 days a week till 5:30, and then
Yes.
Saturday earlier?
And Saturday have it earlier, at least in the, in the summertime when people can, dump their stuff and get on the road.
Right.
So I don't know if any of you have made the mistake of going there on Saturday.
No,
Right,
I try to
with
cut out a
questions.
bunch of it.
Questions.
But I used to do it on a Saturday, and it's usually pretty jammed up.
Okay,
I think that was the same as the duck ball.
stormwater, the same thing, we don't have anything else? Okay, public comment? Mr. Francie?
Excuse me, Chris Francie, 36 Fifth Street. Mr. Goddard's request on behalf of the Housing Authority could be a great opportunity for us to, at this point, rationalize the sewer charges for real for everybody and go to potable water, which is how they do it. All right, but it brings up the issue of I&I at this point where 30–40% of our sewer is not potable water, it's coming from groundwater. That's
But
what
another
it
point
was.
of that is if you base it on potable water, you're not taking into account if you're watering your lawn or washing your car or.
Yes, you
all
are.
those other things.
Yes, you are. Potable water comes
What
through
I'm
your
saying is
meter.
it's not going into the sanitary system, it's going into the storm system.
The guys that have sprinkler systems have a separate meter for that.
The issue with potable water is Jersey American is sending you a disc every month about how much potable water comes into this town. You know, and we get treatment reports on how much effluent we treat. There's an ability to create sewer charges based on usage. And what it does is it drives this ugly animal that is the I&I, because everybody's gonna have to pay for that, because you're not gonna fix it too sweet. I mean, it's gonna take years.
That's
Correct, but unless,
But unless you start measuring it,
but you have to measure it at the house. Right? The potable
well,
water.
I don't think we want to.
No, not total, because we don't use all the same, we're going right back to where we were.
Well, whatever.
If you go by total water flow, whether you're washing your car, you're watering your grass, or everything, you're all getting counted as it's going in the sewer. Yep. And that's not right if you're gonna go that way. You have to know what goes in the sewer.
Well,
I don't wanna pay for water that don't go in. That's why a guy
Henry Moyer one time off the hook, the guys cut the sprinkler head off, and it ran for a weekend. And he got like a $10,000 bill or something, because after you go over a certain amount, used to be anyways, that was commercial business, it went sky high. And he came back, it's like, and that was the solve, you gotta put a meter on there. Separate this from that.
We disagree. People design sewer systems to be based on usage, and that's the way you fix a 600 square foot house with 2 people in it versus a 5,000 square foot house.
Chris, you're missing the biggest caveat here. If that's in a healthy sewer system, we don't have a healthy sewer system by any means, by any shape of the stick. What we need to do is examine, Mr. Goddard, have that conversation. I do agree with what you're saying. What we need to do is really sit down and start getting capital up and fix the remaining sewer lines so that we don't have that problem.
Correct.
I think you're putting the cart in front of the horse right now.
They're already laid out, they've already been televised, they've only gotten worse.
Yeah. So,
The
Well,
basins, a separate basins, you were involved in that.
I understand, but we haven't done anything about the
So
issue.
you have to do something about that.
correct. Good question. We can bond
You know,
again, start.
and one of-
But going by the size of a house, a 600 square foot apartment and a 6,000 square foot house, if only 2 senior citizens live in each one, what's the difference? Right? So you can't go ahead,
No,
you know,
I mean, I don't
it has
see
to
how
be
you.
looked into,
Correct.
you know? Because like you go to some of the apartments on Portland Road, their water is all together. I'm pretty sure, Twin Lake Terrace,
Well, all the
there's one
condos.
water meter, so it's divided among, and it's the same problem. You have the older senior citizen, what does she use? You got the
And
guy
the
with the
family of
wife
four.
and the kids and the family of 4. They use 4 times, but we're dividing it up amongst ourselves.
Right.
And it's the same thing, not separately metered. It should be separately metered, so it's, it has to be done, I agree 100%, but it has to be done one time, justly for everybody.
Okay, we're in agreement, violent agreement, we really
No,
are.
it's not violent, if I sound that way, I'm sorry. Mr. Wells,
Yeah, just a thought on this. This is kind of
you just have to say your name.
Oh,
again.
Greg Wells, 246 Bayside Drive. Do our tax records, like our tax assessments, show like the number of bathrooms and bedrooms and?
Yes.
Could you do something
They
with that?
do, but say you are in a house that has 5 bathrooms, but only 1 person lives in that house. Why should they be
But you assess
costing,
me.
it's still not equitable. The
I
only
am
way
that
it's ever
person,
gonna be
but
equitable
again,
is if you measure that you're out.
but it's kind of fair because
How is that fair?
we base our taxes
You're
on it.
basing your taxes on
I
5
know,
bathrooms.
well, that's a whole nother conversation about fairness.
But at least it's logical and it's as fair as
It's
the
more
taxes.
logical than everyone paying the same.
Yeah.
I get
Like
that.
I would support that, he makes a valid point. And we're talking about, we have to be fair to all the residents. Yeah, if I have more bathrooms, it should be more.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of whether I choose to use the water or choose to flush it
Well,
down
Mr.
the
Brown,
toilet.
No,
Give us a
because
nice,
what we're talking about here is use on, is based on usage, not on based on having fixtures.
So that's what
It's
I'm saying, why
unusable.
does it legally have to be based on consumption? Or could it be?
Well, it has to be fair, you know, like I just said, single person lives in a 5, with 5 bathrooms. How many more times do they use it than a person that lives in with 1?
Maybe I have a lot of parties.
Whatever it is, you know? Anybody else? I wanna go.
I want to go too.
So be quick, Carol.
Well, unfortunately, Rick, there were a lot of questions that I have, and we spent so much time on the ordinance. I wanted to talk about the rec center itself. The community center is for the residents of Highlands to use at a $35 fee.
Oh, let's not get back into that, Carol.
I'm not
It's
talking
already-
about that.
It's
I'm not
already
talking.
been done.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fee that you have to use the center. I pay.
We spoke about that already, and are going to change that. I
No.
believe that's what the conversation was.
Different topic.
What conversation?
We had a conversation here, but go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I pay $35, or we pay $35 by Bayview to use the rec center for 1 meeting, maybe 2 meetings a year, right?
Right,
Now,
the same
in my,
$35.
okay, in my investigation, I discovered that somebody paid $35 to use the rec center, and she used it for a profit. She used it for a profit, and it clearly says in the file, in the fee thing, that you may not use it for a profit. It was,
So who leased it to her?
Diane DeVizio Marks. She rented it
No, I'm not asking that.
$35.
The town leased it to her, right?
They rented it to her for $35, and then she charged $40 per person on 4 days to teach yoga.
Okay.
I called Carla about it because we have a yoga studio in
I
town.
believe.
We have two.
And I said, you don't have a problem with that? She said, well, she's not charging. She did charge, and her ad did charge. She charged on April,
She charged one time for the entire 4-week
No, no.
period. Yes, yes.
that's not what the ad said. That's
Well,
not what the ad said.
One fee. And quite frankly, let me just clear the record. Now, this is my aunt. So it's been my daughter today. It's been my husband. Now it's my aunt.
Okay.
You know what? It's the same fee that Stacy Pritchard paid to do art classes and charge a fee. But that's not a problem, right, Carol?
No, it is a problem.
No, it is a problem. It certainly
It is
He
a problem.
also ran a basketball camp where everybody thought it was wonderful. He made a profit.
But
Is that a
Did he
problem?
pay,
Yes, it
did he
is.
pay
But
the
why-
fee to run, did he
yes,
run it here?
yes.
Well,
It's
that's
a
a problem
So when you're
because it
singling
shouldn't
out
be done.
certain people.
Well,
That's the
listen.
only
So
one I
let's-
knew.
Let's
Okay.
throw it out there,
Listen,
It's
listen,
certain
let's,
people.
let's stop arguing right now.
because it
Okay.
gets tiresome after so many freaking years.
We have to make an adjustment on what is being
You
charged.
have to make a lot of adjustments
Okay.
because the entire ordinance book, the minutes, they're so screwed up you wouldn't believe. I've been reading them
So
for
what do you want me
years.
to do, Carol?
Well, I'm just telling you.
Do, I
Somebody
understand.
complained about the legal fees last time. You need to hire a lawyer just to go through the ordinances and the things in this town. They're all wrong. They're all wrong. They contradict themselves, and it's a mess. It's just a mess. And those legal fees did not just involve one person. And I also would like to defend Claudette, because the Facebook, I was looking for the Borough of Highlands Facebook. I did not realize it was on,
It's right smack dab in the
right,
middle of
but
the
it
top
was
of the
down
page.
below. It was down below. Now it's right up the top. And I came across the Borough of Highlands Facebook, which is run by Matt King. And all they do in there
I
is
think my mom's the
condemn.
only one's left,
That would
right?
be your father.
I think it's just my mom that's left. You got something on her?
Okay, what?
And her name's
Okay.
No,
Kathy.
I
She works
got
up on the
Lucille
hill.
too, because I think you might be her.
No, she's 92 and she's
But,
but
But anyway,
actually, I'm gonna go home. I'm actually.
Constantly,
I think
Carol.
it's actually ridiculous.
I think that she has to be defended, and I think it's not right. I think it's absolutely
What, someone on
not right.
Facebook, Carol? Come on.
No,
That, me?
no, it's not just Facebook.
Wait, can I say something? Could you please stop with the petty nonsense? We have a lot
God.
of really bad things.
That's why nothing gets done.
Becky, please sit
No,
back down.
it's really, it's too much.
This is ridiculous.
I learned a lot in my life
Petty
about cutting out the
nonsense.
bullshit, and this is part of it.
Yeah, but
It's
the
gotta
fact
stop.
is, but the
Thank
fact
you.
is,
There are a lot more important things
I
to be
move
worried
to adjourn.
about right now.
Everybody, we
Cool.
can-
I'll
let's
second.
go.
And
No,
I'm not
fine.
done, wait a minute.
I'll speak with you, but we're not going through this.